I'm Lance with Love to Hate, and we are back with a playthrough of a new game coming out to Kickstarter in the very near future called Swatch. Today we're going to be doing a solo playthrough, a bit unusual for Love to Hate, because generally we are looking at games that bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. But we really wanted to showcase the solo play of this game because it's a component to this game that we feel is important for you guys to know out there, and so that you can see how it works and how it might weigh in your decision whether you want to back Swatch or not. Swatch comes from Minerva Games. They sent us a prototype copy to preview. And so everything that you'll see in this video is prototype, meaning that the components, artwork, and maybe some of the rules even might change a little bit once the final product is released. Let's go ahead and take the overhead view. And you can see that I have a lot of cards on the table. I'm going to briefly explain what Swatch is, and then I will talk about the solo gameplay. Swatch is a game in which you are going to be using your artist meeples to claim these cards that you see in these 3 rows. And the cards that you are going to be claiming allow you to do one of 3 different types of actions. You can use these solid color cards to claim different cubes over here. You can use the mix cards that have the different colors on them to mix together the cubes that you have gathered to create these red, green, blue discs. And there is a 3rd type of card that is not on the board right at the moment, but let me see if I can show you one of those real quick. They have zigzag lines on them that allow you to swap out some of the cubes that you have with cubes from another player or cubes from the supply. Anyhow, you will use those 3 different types of cards to try and get, again, these green, red, blue discs here that you will essentially cash in for one of these 6 Swatch cards up at the top of the board. Now, at the beginning of the game, every player is dealt a scheme card, and this is kept secret, excuse me. But these scheme cards tell you what kind of swatches you are trying to gather by the end of the game. And there's 3. You have to have 3 different swatches. Every scheme card has 3. And so my particular one says that I need a swatch from deck 1, deck 3, and deck 5. If I can gain a card from each of those piles, then I have completed my objective and I could possibly win the game. Now, everybody has their own scheme card. It's kept secret, so you're never quite sure which player is going for which swatch card up there at the top. And once somebody claims one, then it will go to the card that's underneath, and they might require a different combination of red, green, blue discs. Each card is different as far as how many of each of those types of discs you need to be able to claim it. So that's essentially Swatch, brief overview. In a solo game, we are going to be playing against an AI character that is represented by these 2 meeples and these 2 dice. Now, again, this is prototype. I just have regular D6 dice here. In the final product, these dice will have colors on them. They'll have the magenta, the yellow, and the cyan colors on one of the dice, and on the other dice it would be the blue, red, green variant. And so how this will work to operate for the AI, I will roll the first die, and if I get a 1 or a 2, I'm going to look at this first number here, and that is the number that tells me what number in the row that I will place that meeple. So if I rolled a 1 or a 2, that meeple will go on the 2nd card. If that 2nd card is unavailable, then we will follow this arrow all the way until we get to a card that is available. If I roll a 3 or 4, I will use this middle number here. And if I roll a 5 or a 6, then I'm going to use the third number. And so that's how that's going to work. The colors will come into play once I start taking certain actions. When I add for the AI opponent, if he takes an add card, we keep track of any of the cubes that he would have added on this track right here. We're not going to take any cubes, we're just going to go up this track that goes all the way up to 30. If we do a swap card, which again, we don't have any on the board at this moment, but if we do a swap card, then he is going to swap out the, let me double check this real quick. He is going to swap out the current token, or current whatever is on the die that I rolled. That's the color he's going to swap out with me. He's going to take one from, or I'm going to get one from him, excuse me, I got that backwards. And then I have to return back to the supply whatever of the other 2 tokens that I have the fewest of. We'll explain that a little bit more detail when that comes back up again. I think I kind of butchered that a little bit, but I'll make sure that it makes sense to you guys when it comes up. And then the third and final thing is mixing. Now we're going to play on the normal difficulty variant here. You could do easy, normal, and hard. And for normal, he will mix every 5 of the cubes that he would have had on this track here. So for instance, if he has 15, then he is going to divide that by 5, and that would be 3. He would get 3 of these colored discs depending upon whichever he has the fewest of, which is kept track right here. And then he would go down on his scale right here in increments of 5. That's for the normal variant. If we were playing easy mode, then it would be for, it would be 6. And if we were playing hard, then it would be only 4. So he would get more discs for fewer cubes. Again, this will all make sense as we start playing, but my objective is that I have to complete my scheme card. He just has to get 3 swatches. He has no scheme card. He's just going to try and get any 3. Could be from the same pile. But once one of us does that, the game is not over yet. You then have to deplete yourself of all cubes and all extra discs that you might have. And the way you do that is, rather than taking a card, you just simply set your worker at the end of the row and you get rid of 1 cube or 1 disc. And you keep doing that with your workers, depleting discs one by one until you are completely out, or until the AI opponent is completely out. And that is the game. So we're going to jump into it. At the beginning of every round, I get to draw a card. The AI does not draw any cards. And my card tells me that I can add 4 cyan. And so I put out a worker. I can either take a card that I put my worker under and put it in my hand, or I can play it. And then as an optional action, I can play a card from my hand. So I could play 2 cards. I could play the card that I put my worker under, and one if I have it in my hand. Now again, I'm trying to go for deck 1, deck 3, and deck 5. Deck 1 here tells me that I need 4 red, 1 green, 2 blue. Deck 3 says I need 2 red, 3 green, 2 blue. And deck 5 says I need 2 red, 2 green, and 3 blue. So I'm just going to try and get as many cubes as I can at this point in the game. And I'm going to take this first card right here, add 6 yellow. So I'm just going to play it. I'm not going to add it in my hand, and I'm going to add 6 yellow. And we're going to keep my cubes right here with 6 yellow. And this reference card right here tells me what cubes mix together to make what discs. To get a red disc, I have to mix magenta with yellow. To get a green disc, I have to mix yellow with cyan. And then to get a blue, I have to mix cyan with magenta. That's how that works. So I took my card. This does not refill until the end of the round. And so now we will roll for the first AI meeple, and it's a 2. And so we use this first number on a 2, which says 2. So they are going to come here and they would use this card. But mixing does not do them anything at this point because they don't have enough cubes. Now, on a normal difficulty mode, they are going to gain 2 of the colored cubes. That happens every time we roll this first die. When we roll the second die, they are going to gain 1 of these colored discs, depending upon the color that they roll. And we get rid of the card that the AI would have taken. It goes back over to me, and again, I just want a lot of cubes at this point, so I'm going to take 5 magenta, and I will play the card I have in hand, and I will claim 4 cyan. And that is it for me. So now we will go over to the AI, and it is a 3, which would be this middle one in green. So they are going to gain 1 green disc, and the number is 3. And so they will claim this 2 here. But again, they don't have enough cubes because, again, they have to have at least 5 on normal difficulty to mix, and they only have 2. So that's the end of the first round. We get rid of the card here, the solo track card there. We refill the row. And now we drop down to the next row. One other additional rule that may take place in a solo mode, it's more so going to take place in a multiplayer game, but that is whoever goes last in the round has the option of taking from the row below the active row and taking any card there. The negative to doing that is that you will automatically go last in the next round, and you won't get to take a card because you've already taken a card by going in the bottom row, the row below the row that you were playing in before. So anyhow, that is that. And then turn order is determined by the order of meeples in the current row. So I would go first, and I'm going to mix 2, playing this card here. Oh, I forgot to draw a card, and it is add 5 magenta. I'm still going to mix 2, and I think I need a lot of red, so I'm going to mix my 2 yellow and 2 magenta to make 2 red. And I have to do 2 because 2 is on the card there. And so that was my turn, so it will go to the AI next. And it is a 4, which is the middle one, and we add 2 to their tracker here, and it would be a 1, but I've already taken the 1, and so we follow the arrow, which is left. There's not a card over here on the left, so we come back around on the other side, and they're going to take the 3 here. Again, unfortunately, they're getting a lot of mix cards here at the beginning, and they're not able to do anything with the mix. And so that is that. And then we will go to the second meeple, and it is a 5, which is blue, so they're going to gain a blue and go to card 4. And so now they are going to get some. They're going to get 5 yellow. They are at 4, so we're going to move them up to 9. And that is the AI's turn. It will come back to me, and I'm going to mix 4. I'm going to mix 4 yellow and 4 blue to create 4 green discs. So I'm doing pretty good here, I think. And that is the end of the second round. We're going to refill the row. And I will draw a card, which is add 4 cyan. And we're going to get rid of the solo tracker card. Now I'm going to get to go back to back here. That's pretty nice. I think I'm going to take this mix 3, and I can, before I take the action on this card, I can play a card in hand first, and I will do that. I'm going to add 4. And now I will mix 3. And I'm going to mix magenta with cyan and create 3 blue discs. And I have enough here, I believe, let me double check. Yes, I have enough here to get a card from deck 2. I have to pay my 2 red, 3 green, and 2 blue. And I now have enough to claim this card, and I flip it over, and this is permanently pair. I have collected that. That will go over here on my side of the board. I've got 1 swatch done, and it's still my turn. I am going to add this card to my hand. I'm not going to play it, but I will play the other card that I had in my hand, which is add 5 magenta. And that is that. So now we'll go over to the AI. The first one goes, it's a 3, which is the middle number, and that is a 5 we're going to add to the tracker here. They're going to come here and going to mix. Now the number on the card for mixing does not matter for the AI. They do it as many times as they can afford. And so again, it's increments of 5. They're at 11, so they're going to be able to do it twice, going all the way down to 1. And we mix, let me just double check this again. We mix the one, giving them, let's see, the one that they have fewest of, which in this case is red. And so they're going to get 2 red. And we get rid of that card. And now that they have some of these discs, we're going to want to start to look at the decks after each of their turn, because at any point that they have enough discs to claim a card, they'll claim it. And I don't think they still have enough yet. The AI is going to need a little bit more. So we're going to do their second one now, which is a 6, and that is blue. So they're going to go up 1 on blue, and the 6 would be a 5. The 5 is taken, so we follow the arrow back till we get to a card that's not, and it will be this one to add 6 magenta, which brings them to 7. And I still don't think they are quite at a spot yet where they can claim a swatch card. So the game will continue. We'll refill the row. And I draw a new card, which is add 3 yellow. And now we play off the top row since we are down here at the bottom. We swap out a new card there, and we're ready to go. I go first again. I think, I want to mix 3. I'm going to play my 3 yellow first. And then I will play mix 3, doing 3 magenta with 3 yellow to create 3 red discs. And so that is my first action. We go to the AI next, and it is a 2, which is blue. In this case, we give them 2 on the tracker. The number under blue is 3, so they are going to mix, and they are able to mix because they have more than 5. They have 9, so we're going to drop them down to 4. The lowest one they have is green, so we're going to go up 1 on green. They're at 2, 2, and 2, and they are still not quite there, close on that one. If they had 1 more blue, then they would be able to claim that one. I'm next, and I think I want some magenta. So I'm going to claim 3 magenta, and that is it for me. Over to the AI, it's a 4, which is green. So they're going to gain a green, and card 2. So we're at the swap, okay? And so I look at the die of what they rolled for the this side of their board, which is the cyan, yellow and magenta side of the board, and 2 in this case would be cyan. And I get one of those. However, I have to put back one of the other 2 that I have the fewest of. Well, I have 5 magenta. I don't have any yellow, so I can't give back a yellow. So I would, I'm not 100% certain in this case, but I would assume that I have to give back something. I just can't get something for free. So I'm gonna give back a magenta. So I got a cyan, but I had to put back a magenta. And that's how a swap card works for the AI. If I were to do a swap card, I would just swap out with the supply. In a multiplayer game, you can swap out with either the supply or another player. They can't prevent you from doing that. It's kind of a take that card. All right, so that was the end of the round. We're gonna refill the row and swap out the solo card. And I'm first. I get a new card, add 5, cyan, and I'm gonna go, and I want yellow. So I'm gonna take 5 yellow. And let me think for a minute. I think I want to, I want to mix. I'm gonna play the mix card I had in my hand. I'm gonna mix 2. Now when I mix and the number is more than 1, I have to do all of the same. I can't mix different colors to get different discs. They all have to be for the same type of disc. So I'm going to mix 2 blue with 2 magenta to get blue discs. 2 blue discs. So I have 3 blue now, 3 red, and a green. All right, so that was my turn. We're gonna go over to the AI, and it is a 6, which is a yellow and 5 in this case. We're gonna give them 2, and the 5 card is giving them 6 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is their turn. They go again. And it's a 5, which is blue, and card 4, which is going to give them 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I do believe they are high enough to claim something here. 2, 3, and 3. So we go down starting at this end, and 2, 3, and 3, 2, 2, and 3. So able to claim this card. So they have their first card, and we set them back on the track here. So they're gonna lose 2 red, 2 green, and 3 blue. But they have their first card. What a plavender. That's what that says. And it is still their turn. So we'll roll, and it's a 6. And they will get 1 blue for this right here. And it's 4. 4 was already taken by me, so we have to follow the arrow over, over, and over. And they're gonna add 2 yellow. So 1, 2. That's the end of the round. We're gonna add more cards. Swap this out. I get a new card, and I'll keep my hand open here so you guys can see what I've got. I'm gonna keep my hand here. Hope that's not too confusing. And I go first, and I'm gonna play one of those cards, I believe, because I need some green. And so I'm gonna come here, and I will play the 3 to get 3 blues. And then I will play this, mix 2, to mix 2 blue with 2 yellow to get 2 green. And let's see, I don't have enough just yet to be able to claim something. Close, but not yet. All right, so it's going to go to the AI next. And it's a 1. You're going to get 2. And the 1 says go to card 2. Card 2 is taken by me. So it's 1 space over. They're going to get 4 magenta, which brings them to 25. So if they ever land on a mix card, it's really going to do me a lot of bad. And I think I want to prevent that from happening. So I am going to... Oh. Now you have to fulfill the card. So for instance, I only have 1, at this point right now, I only have 1 cyan. And if I were to try to mix, I could not mix that because I would have to have at least 2 to mix it. But I am still going to go there because I'm going to play this card here that will give me 5 more. And I will play the card so that I can get some blue because I'm going to mix those 2 with these 2 to get 2 blue discs, which gives me a total of 5. And now I do have enough to claim this card right here. And so I will do 4 blue, 2 green, and 1 red. And that is enough to claim Waterway to Go. And I am 2 down, 1 to go. Back over to the AI. Their last meeple for this turn is a 2, which is this first one, number 3. They are going to claim a red disc, and they will swap. And so again, we come back to their first die, which was a 1, and that's cyan. And so I will gain 1 of those. However, I will have to put back a yellow. And that is the end of the round. We'll refill. And exchange new solo cards. I get a new card, and it is a 5 cyan. And AI gets to go first this time. It's a 2, which is a blue 1. So they're going to claim the first card here. And that is 4 more to them. They are almost maxed out on cubes here. I go next, and let's see. So I've got 2. I only need this card right here to go. I have 2 red, I need 4, so I need 2 more red. I don't need any more green, and I'll need 1 more blue. Fortunately, I don't have what I need to mix just yet. This card does not help, but I do need that magenta, so I'm going to take the magenta. 4 magenta. All right, back over to the AI. It's a 4, which is green, so they're going to get 1 green. And they're going to take card 5, add 2. They are completely maxed out. And that is that. I don't think there's any cards out there that they could get right now. Not yet. Back over to me. I am going to mix. I need red. But I don't know that I want 3. I just want 2. So I'm going to drop down a row. I'm going to take this card, and I am going to mix for red. So I'm going to do 2 magenta and 2 yellow to get 2 red discs. And I am only 1 blue disc away from completing my scheme. Yeah, that was, I think, was the best idea for me to do there. Okay, so we're gonna refill the row. We don't refill this row because I've already taken a card from it. I do, however, get another card, and it is a mix one. We have a new solo card, and it goes to this meeple here first. And so that's an AI meeple, and it's a 5, which is yellow 1, and they will not get any more cubes because they are completely full. And so the 1 card is already taken. We go 1 spot over, and it is a mix. And so this is where the AI is going to beat me up. So again, it's increments of 5. They are completely maxed out, and so they are going to get 6 discs here. And they get it in the fewest. Now red and blue are both tied, so we look at the arrow. The arrow is pointing to this way, which would indicate blue. And so they're going to get 6 blue dice, which maxes them out completely on that. And they have a lot of blue. So we're going to look at along the line. They have 1 red, 2 green, 6 blue, and 1 red, 4 green. Not quite. They still don't have enough, surprisingly. All right, so goes back over to me, and I am going to... All right, what do I need? I need 1 blue. And I have what I need to do it. So I am just going to put this meeple here. I'm going to claim this card in my hand. I'm not going to use it for its action. I will do my optional playing a card from my hand for the action, and I am going to mix 1. I'm going to do magenta and cyan to do a blue, and I have 4 red, 1 green, 2 blue, which is enough to be able to get this swatch here. So I have completed my scheme. I just have to get rid of my cubes here. And if I had any more discs, I would also have to get rid of those as well, but thankfully I don't. So now it's over to the AI, and that is a 2. And 2 in this case would be red and card 4. So they're going to get 4 there. And 2, 2, and 6. Let's see, 2, 4, and 1. 1, 4, 2, 2, 2, and 3. So they have enough to claim this. They're going to go down 2, 2, and 3. So they only need 1 more. Still feeling pretty good. That's the end of the round. Refresh this row here. New solo card. I get to draw a card. At the end of a round, if you ever had more than 5 cards in your hand, you would have to discard down to 5, by the way. All right, I'm first. I don't need any of the cards. I have my swatch or my scheme completed. So what I now do is I put my worker at the very end of the row, not underneath the card. Again, these cards are in my hand. I just put it at the end, and I put back 1 cube. That's what I do until I run out of cubes, or until someone else completes their scheme, in which case we go to a tiebreaker. Okay, and so now it's the AI, and it's a 1, and so they're going to get 2 cubes, and 1 tells me to go to the 1 card. They're going to swap. 1 is also blue, so this stinks because I have to take a cube. I don't want to, and I would exchange back one of the fewest that I have. So it's it's 1 for 1. That didn't change anything there. And it's my turn, so I put my guy at the end, get rid of a cube. Now here's the thing, my guys are at the very end of the next row, so I'm gonna go last next round. This is kind of a catch-up mechanic in the game here. The AI goes again. It's 3, which is going to be green, and tells me card 4, which is to mix. and they have enough to mix for 1, and they will do so for red because that's the fewest. And that should have gone out too. And they're at 1, 1, and 3. I don't think there's any out there that are that low. Although that one's close. They only need 1 more blue. So they're getting there. That's the end of the round. We refill. I get a new card added to my hand. A new one of these. And AI is going to go first. It's a 4, which tells me they're going to get 2 on here. And it tells me card 4, mix 3. Well, they don't have enough to mix just yet. So it goes over to their other meeple. It's a 1. They get a red. Tells me card 5. They're going to add 2 magenta. 2, 1, and 3. I don't think so. Nope. 2, 1, and 4. Very close. Okay. So they're done. Comes back over to me. I'm going at the end of the row again, getting rid of a cube. And again, getting rid of a cube. So back over to the AI for the next round. I get a card and I'm now at 5 and the deck has run out, so I have to reshuffle to create a new draw deck. And we're ready to go. New one of these. We'll shuffle this up. Ready to go there. AI goes first. It's a 4, which is number 4. They're going to get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, we have already checked. They don't have enough to claim a Swatch card. They will go again. It's a 3, which gives them 1 green, and card 3, which is a swap. And I have to take the one that came up on this die, which is magenta. And I'm just exchanging it for that. And 2, 2, and 3. I don't think so. 2, 2. Nope. So I'm okay. I go at the end of the row and I have completely gotten rid of all my cubes, all my discs. I have completed my scheme and I am victorious. All right. So there you have it. That was the solo play for Swatch. Might have had a few rules goofs. I'll put in the descriptions if I notice anything, or if you guys notice I made any rules goofs. I'll make sure to clear that up in the description. But this is from Minerva Games. It's going to be hitting Kickstarter in the very near future. When it does launch, we will include the Kickstarter link in the description of the video so that you can check that out and back it. We will also be doing a preview video for the multiplayer version of this game as well. And so be on the lookout for that. We'll let you know what we think about it and if it might be a game that is good for non-gamers. All right, I'm Lance. This is Love to Hate. We'll catch you next time.